it's gone off! Oh, no! He's going to pass them both on the wet part of the racetrack. Oh, he's swings left and right. And then trying to put Morris up. Morris. Oh! That was so close.
Hello and welcome to the GPVWC Formula Challenge I believe it's round 9 from the Silverstone circuit here in jolly old England. We're here for the British Grand Prix round of the Formula Challenge series on the GPVWC Formula Career Ladder. I'm Tyler Parker, joined today by Menno Klont, providing the color commentary for today. And on cameras, we have David Francic, doing a great job as always. Menno, we're here at the Silverstone circuit. If you'd like to elaborate on some of the technicalities that the drivers are going to have to face in basically navigating this, this very historic piece of track here for the Formula Challenge series.
Yeah, well, it's a very nice and technical circuit with a lot of fast corners. That means that the tire wear of today's race will be pretty high, and I think that is one of the main problems of this track. It's very good, but you will wear out the tires. So I think it will be a chess game today. So that will be very interesting. A very old layout. Well, most of the track is from a very old layout. We have, of course, a new part of the track since I believe about 10 years ago they introduced it. So interesting what we will see tonight, and I think this will be very cool race, and it's a very tricky first corner. So the track provides us with a lot of good battles, I think. So now the drivers need to be willing to take that risk and full of nice overtaking moves, and then we'll see what we will get today.
Yes, that's right, Menno. And right now we are in the 4.5 minutes into qualifying right now. We have Matthew Williams from Cenobite Motorsports on pole right now, followed by Luke McGuire, Chris Shepard in third. A happy birthday to Chris today. Fourth, Adrian Campfield, and fifth, Chris Butcher. The two championship contenders, Chris Shepard and Chris Butcher, are expected to do well. Anybody else in the field that we might see sort of climb up through the field? And also, Menno, any sort of musings on the potential implications of the championship from this round? Who's apt to score points and who's apt to maybe take a little bit of a tumble down the standings?
Oh, yeah, to say who gets a tumble is, of course, very difficult to say who's a bit struggling because everything is still close. But yeah, we had some drivers around, I believe, like James Early, who didn't have the best round 2 weeks ago. So they want to make sure they will be, of course, better at this round. So we'll see, those type of drivers, what they can do. I think, the top three will be, Williams, Shepard, and Butcher. I think those three are a bit away from the rest. But I think, said that. I think, potentially we can see one or two others rise to the top, and we've got a good mix from new talent from the Academy series. We've got two drivers from there in the Academy team, and we've got some other drivers for other teams, because I believe there is a team here in the FC which had the national team playing. I think today. I think that was a Polish team, and they needed some drivers because let's face it. I think both the original drivers are now drunk somewhere in Poland, so they need to have some other drivers. So yeah, today will be there as well. So a good mix as well from a lot of drivers, a lot of names we get used to, and some new names like always to that want to get the crown. And it will be a nice mix. And
Yeah, World Cup always tends to monkey with some schedules, but it is soccer season as well as sim racing season here. And Menno, if you'd like to elaborate, we have the ISI MRS ACR Academy Series, and we do have those 2 GPVWC Formula Challenge Academy seats. If you want to take us through a little bit of that and talk about the guys in those seats and what they were able to do in that Academy Series, and how anybody would be able to get a ride in the Formula Challenge Academy Series by participating in this, Menno. If you want to talk a little bit about that as qualifying is about ready to draw to a close here, I'll interrupt when it ends.
Okay, well, I try to keep it short then. Well, yeah, the Academy Series, which has a few rounds also around here last week. We've got around 40 people who will participate in that, and it's quite simple. If you have success, then then you can get into the seat. You normally ask the numbers 1 and 2 from the Academy Series race to race for the FC Academy team during the next round, which is on the same circuit, but then a week later for the FC. But we now have the fact that the winner of last week's race, Rick Scott, already was in talks with the WSL team, and he signed there. And actually, the number 4 of that race, Kasper Michalak, who's now currently in P24 in the qualifying session, signed there as well. So that's very good from that team hiring those guys. And actually, the numbers 2 and numbers 3, number 2 and number 3 from that race, that's Pedro Delgado, and where's the other one? The other one is Steve Comby. They got a drive as well. So actually, we've got the top 4 of the Academy race now in the FC. So that shows like if you like sim racing, you jump into the Academy Series. You can actually get a reward to the FC. And like the Academy is the way to shine. And if you can shine there, you get a chance in FC. And if you shine there, then you've got a good sim racing career.
So opportunities all around there, Menno. Great job on that. And as we look at qualifying on to the end, Shepard has put the Stax Racing number 37 on pole, with Matthew Williams, I believe, finishing up his lap right now, final lap. Luke McGuire in 3rd, finishing up his final qualifying lap. Adrian Campfield locked into 4th. Ivan Leonov, he's put his Cenobite car up into 5th. Chris Butcher in 6th. Sven DeVries, haven't really seen a whole lot of him this year, I feel like, but doing a great job putting his car up into 7th. Luke Browning, great drive into 8th. Sandeep Chota in 9th, and 10th. Rounding out the 10th spot is Miguel Delos Rios, doing a great job there. As if you don't know already, we don't just pay to the points, at least in this race. We don't just pay to the 10th position. We go all the way to 15, 15 all the way up to 25 points, 25 for first, 1 point for, 1 point for 15th, all the way up to first, which gets 25 points. And today, Menno, we are going to have a pretty interesting field, as David Yunt is able to improve and actually knock Miguel Delos Rios out of the 10th spot. We're in for a heck of a race. You brought up tire wear on this track. Tire wear is going to play a huge part in it. Could we possibly see pit stops, Menno?
I think we could see pit stops, but that will we'll have some problems for where you're finishing. But yeah, depends how your tire wear is. If your tire wear is really terrible, you will not manage the 13 laps. So I think we'll see people that just try to be decent on the tires for the first 6 or 7 laps to stretch it to the end. And I think that's the tactic you should take, because I think normally after 9, after 10 laps, the tires are more or less gone, and you want to have a lot of grip at the last 2-3 laps. If you can do that, you will be the guy that can pass everybody, because you're not even doing a pit stop. But I think we will see pit stops, and will be interesting to see if that actually works, because we've got quite a small pit entrance. The pit entrance cuts I think a lot of corners in sector 3, so it does not cost you a lot. So that is actually very positive. So a pit stop shouldn't cost you that much.
Yeah, very short pit delta here at the Silverstone circuit. Menno, let's dig into this championship battle, as we're going to be entering the warm-up phase right now. But let's dig into this championship battle that has been going on in Formula Challenge. And Menno, we have Chris Butcher on top with 227, Chris Shepard with 224, David Yunt the next closest at 190 points. What are you forecasting maybe for this race, as we do see that as we do see Chris Shepard and Chris Butcher only separated by about 3 positions on track. Are we expecting Chris Butcher to maybe fly up through the field and sort of take that fight as quickly as possible to Chris Shepard?
We shouldn't forget one thing. That were a lot of penalties post-race of Austria, and we didn't talk about that. So I know least Chris Shepard got a penalty for, I think, at least 5 places. We've got Luke Browning with a penalty, even Leonov with a penalty. So the whole grid will look a bit different. For the race, I think it will be will be touch and go. Let's see what will happen in the race. I think the Chris that will be starting ahead will also finishing ahead. So I think Butcher has no penalty, so he might go away with it. But if he can win, that's not sure. But I think he's only looking at the other Chris and getting points on Chris Shepard. But I think it will overall be a very good race.
No, I think that's another great point to bring up there, Menno. As we sort of look through these championship standings, I'm going to try and bring these back up again for me. My phone seems to be experiencing the same problems that my computer is, just being slow today. But as we see the top 2 separated by 3 points total, it's very, very tight up there. The next closest driver, again, David Yunt in 3rd, separated by basically a race win and another sort of back of the points or rear of the field points finish between him and the first 2. As far as the rest of this points battle is going, and especially getting into the team aspect of it, we have had some shuffling up there. We have Red Arrow Racing at the top right now. Again, buoyed by Chris Butcher's great performance this year. Stax Racing, again, number 2. Cenobite has moved up from farther down in the field up to 3rd, and sort of leapfrog Royal Blue, who had a pretty bad outing at Austria, unfortunately for that team. But Royal Blue holds well in 4th position right now. Shift Gear in 5th, and McKinley Engineering in 6th. WSL Racing 7th, TR Motorsports in 8th, CM Racing in 9th, and Mayer Downward Racing in 10th right now. Which teams do you think, Menno, stand to benefit the most from this race, and which drivers do you think for those teams could really give a boost to the teams that they're driving for? I know we mentioned some new faces here, really going to give a boost to some of these teams and sort of help them move up in the standings to where they can hopefully be promoted at the end of this year. I know it's still far out, Menno, but we always need to look at the points and look at who is in those top spots for the promotion to Super Cup next year.
Yeah, well, yeah, which teams are standing out right now with the drivers for this race? Yeah, I think Cenobite will do pretty good in this race with both drivers. I think they will score a decent amount of points. But of course, the other two teams are just normally a bit too strong and scoring a lot of points as well. So yeah, Red Arrow and Stacks will score their points, and we'll make sure they will be 1 and 2, of course, also after this event. It will be interesting to see what Royal Blue can do. They always score points. That's the strength of Royal Blue Racing, and I think we will see that again today. So they will not maybe not get on the podium or even get a top 5, but they will get I think 3 or 4 point scoring positions, and that's what you want as a manager. Like you want to have consistency, and also if you can get constant points, it will be just pretty good for constructors. And maybe another team that will benefit from a late signing will be TR Motorsport, who signed Sven Vries for today, and he possibly can get the team a decent amount of points. It depends how he does, but he's got the talent to do so, so it'll be very interesting. And to say the last thing, we've got we've got the GPVWC Academy, and with 88 points on the 12th position in Constructors Championship, while we've got WSL Racing only 15 points ahead, and they are in 7th position in the Constructors Championship. So there can be a lot of movement between position 7 and 12 in the Constructors. So I think for all those teams, one thing will be key: every point counts. Every point you can get now, even if it's P15, take it. If you can, if you have a bad race but you still can have P15, this is what you want, because then you can still have reverse for race 2, and you get something from it. So it will be very interesting. So that will be a good battle as well between all those teams.
And to that end, Menno, I think getting both cars in the points and home at the end of this race is going to be huge. But definitely one of those things. Yes, very tight between P8 and what is this, P12, basically, in the team standings for sure. As we kind of finish up the warm-up period, Menno, we're going into the race. I'm looking at the weather forecast right now, and it seems like we're not going to have any precipitation, as we had some sort of shifty weather conditions over in Austria. We weren't sure if it was necessarily going to rain, or if it was going to rain, or if it was going to dry out. I believe the second race of that, we did actually have wet and intermediate conditions, or I might be thinking of the Super Cup race. I can't remember. I believe it was the Super Cup race. But Silverstone, sort of known for being a track where weather can sort of rear its ugly head. We aren't going to have to worry about that today. So that sort of strategy sort of goes out the window. So any sort of rainmeisters that we would have out there aren't going to be able to sort of spin us a wonderful tale and run through the field as we would normally expect them to. Menno, I guess we're just going to settle in here for the start of the race and the grid sort of resetting via the penalties. Menno, any keys to this race or racetrack in particular to you, as far as corners that you should look at, areas that you should really focus on, getting good runs out of, passing zones? These cars are equipped with DRS, as are all the cars in the GPVWC Formula Challenge ladder system, or Formula ladder system. Anything in particular as far as areas on the track, trouble zones even?
Yeah, well, the the main area where you can win and lose a lot of times is sector 2. That's with Cops. That's the old first corner, and then you've got Maggot and Beckett, the 4 turns left and right, and especially the last corner before the hanger straight. That one is very, very important. If you can nail that one, and you can get a lot of exit speed out of it, you can slingshot yourself with, and if you even have DRS, you have a good opportunity to pass. So I think, yeah, the hanger straight, the back straight will be very interesting to watch. I think that's the key point. But the whole sector 2 will be all about winning or losing. If you can make the difference there, you will have a good race.
And we've just had the call for the cars onto the grid. So we're going to be gridding up here now. And we're going to be hopefully starting this race very soon. 13 laps at Silverstone for race 1, 13 laps for race 2. And we are going to basically be in for quite a show for all 13 laps in the first and second race. It's going to be basically tooth and nail between these drivers, scrounging for these 15 points paying positions on offer here at Silverstone. So we wait here to basically have the cars take the grid. It seems like we're getting everybody onto the grid right now. Menno, if you're in this position, kind of what are you thinking? A lot of pressure, especially on the English, British drivers being their home Grand Prix as we head off on the warm-up lap right now with Chris Shepherd on pole. I'll take you through the field real quick. Chris Shepherd on pole with Matthew Williams starting second. Luke McGuire in third. Chris Butcher fourth. The third row has Sven de Vries and Sandeep Chota. Fourth row, David Yunt and Miguel de los Rios. Ninth would be Wesley Stefano. And 10th will be Thomas Andrea Mirharisoa. I had to say that one so slow, but I will get it this time, Thomas. And sorry for last weekend butchering that name. James Early and the other Royal Blue Racing in 11th. Matt Richards in 12th. Cameron Rogers in 13th. Harry Graham starting 14th. Rick Scott, last week's winner in the GPV in the Academy Series, starting 15th. Rauno Muru, starting 16th. Kasper Michalak, I believe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, Michalak. Yeah,
Michalak.
Yeah.
Kasper Michalak starting 17th. Ruben van de Hudding doing a great job in World GT last week. But then unfortunately having a late DNF. Also did a pretty good in the Formula Challenge race, I believe, in Austria as well, starting 18th. Adrian Faber, I believe it is. Faber. Yeah. Adrian Faber starting 19th. Pedro Delgado in 20th. Adrian Campfield with one of those back-of-the-grid penalties in 21st. Ivan Leonov in 22nd. Dan Kell in 23rd. Tom Davison in 24th. Harris Parvez in 25th. Luke Browning starting 26th. Dylan Scrivens, another Academy Series winner, starting 27th. 28th is Steve Comby. 29th is Matthew Beavis. 30th is Kevin Peters. 31st is Daniel Brambila. And 32nd is Michael Galka. Galka definitely a silent assassin. We'll look for him. And also Matthew Beavis, who had a great run in Austria, sort of come through the field. Also setting some fast times. Luke Browning will be another one we'll need to keep an eye on. And Ivan Leonov and Adrian Campfield as well.
Oh, we already have some problems for Chris Shepherd. He's not standing in the pit and grid box, so I'm not sure what's happening
outside
there.
The grid box there.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. Yeah, but the game will detect it, so I think it's good. So we're waiting for the start.
He is a little bit farther out than what he needs to be. So that is for sure there. Good catch there, Menno.
Let's see. We've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are go. So we are starting now, and let's see. Chris Shepherd takes the lead, but Matthew Williams got a good start as well. Now the tricky first corner. Does everything go to plan? I think it goes to plan. Not too much drama. But yeah, let's see how they will go into the rest of the corners. Oh, it's so tricky. Oh, and David Jun gets spun. David Jun gets spun.
Oh no. And Luke Browning also had a little bit of an off farther back there. Oh, and Carnage coming out of that. Oh, cars everywhere. Looks like Harry Graham was involved. David Yunt, Matthew Beavis, unfortunately. Potentially Wesley Stefano as well. As we just have some cars heading off all over the place. Adrian Campfield has had a little bit of an off. Later on, I believe that was into left field there. Seems like everybody will start to settle down, hopefully, going forward here. As we have a pretty good fight for 18th, James Early being able to get past Ruben van de Hooding, but I'll take you back to the front of the field and let you know if anything's changed there. It's still Chris Shepard leading, followed by Luke McGuire now, who's been able to get past Matthew Williams, with Chris Butcher in 4th, Sven de Vries in 5th, Sandu Chota in 6th, Miguel de los Rios in 7th, Thomas Andrea Mir Harasoa in 8th, and Cameron Rogers 9th, Matt Richards 10th.
And we got a first retirement, I think, or maybe not. It's Harry Graham, who was stopped on the Hanger Straight, but he's still driving, but I'm not sure if he will go in the end. So let's see what happens here. I think everybody, there was some cars were damaged, but I'm not seeing any front wing losses, so everybody's still more or less going.
Yeah, seemed like a little bit of argy-bargy going into Village and the Loop, and then even more so coming out on the entry and going into Brooklands there, until the field was able to sort of get sorted. As we look now, Kasper Michalak has done a great job of moving up into 11th position, just flying through that field. But Rick Scott hot on his heels right now.
And that is actually his teammate, so that's actually very good for the team. If they can get P11 in P12, that will be around 9 points in the championship. And with all the teams in between, with 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, the construction is quite close. This is 2 positions you want those points. If you can finish 11 and 12, that's already good. Of course, you want to do better, but if you can get those 2 cars in the points, that will be, of course, very good. But let's see if they can indeed do that.
Yeah, that'll be a great boost for that team. Definitely, if they can get 2 cars in the points, in not only this race, but the second race coming up. And Chris Shepard, no surprise, has set the fastest lap of the race thus far, although we are only 2 laps into this contest right now, starting on the 3rd. Right now, I'm looking to see. It doesn't seem like anybody's really gaining on anybody. Although it seems like Luke McGuire is starting to take an attacking stance toward Chris Shepard. And what I thought was occurring was Matthew Williams reeling in Luke McGuire, but it doesn't seem to be occurring right now. And then the gap back from Chris Shepard to Chris Butcher, your top 2 in the points right now, Butcher leading, Shepard trailing in the points, is 1.78 seconds back to Chris Butcher in 4th, from Chris Shepard leading this race. I'm wondering if Chris Butcher is just sort of laying in the weeds, so to speak, playing it safe, and waiting for these guys ahead to sort of try to mount an attack and then maybe pick them off. I'm wondering if Butcher is just sort of pacing himself for this race, score points, be safe, and then sort of take the fight and try to take the win in race 2.
Yeah, I think now it's happening. What they all waited for is that the DRS just started working. So Chris Shepard, of course, he's now the leader, and it actually did a good job, of course, for just from pole, just to keep the lead. But now he will not have DRS. So let's see if Luke McGuire can overtake him with DRS, and if he can, disturb Shepard and maybe allow Matthew Williams and Butcher and maybe Sven de Vries as well to join the party for the podium positions.
Yeah, and I'm also watching the battle here for 8th as Cameron Rogers has been able to sort of reel in Thomas Andrea Mirahara-Soa a little bit here. I'm just wondering, like you said to Chris Shepard, or to your point on Chris Shepard, he was able to sort of keep that P1 position from pole. I, you know, race like this, high tire wear, it's all about management. And if you can manage it, and you're out front managing it, it's a whole lot easier.
Yeah, and yeah, I think that's what Shepard do. Well, we had somebody who was very angry, I believe, but we already have. Oh, unfortunately, we already have 4 men retire. We've got the whole of the downforce team out of the race. So Harry Graham in 32nd position out, and Tom Davidson as well.
Oh,
and we've
beautiful
got,
maneuver.
Yeah. Oh, well,
sorry about. No, I'm watching the. Sorry, I'm watching the battle right now between 10th and 11th, and Rick Scott just made a great pass around around what is that Woodcote on Casper Michalak there on the outside. Ran a little wide, did improve his position. Not sure if that's going to come under any scrutiny, but Rick Scott really rocketing through this field. But again, very fair play on his teammate there, as Ivan Leonov now is setting his sights on Casper Michalak, and we'll see if Leonov is able to make this pass on the pit lane stretch.
Yeah, well, we already have Michael Galka now in P14, so that's actually very good from Michael Galka, because I believe he started somewhere near the back, so a great
he started from him. He started dead in the back, Menno. Yeah.
So this is impressive. Well, yeah, only nearly goes off, so that's me cursing Michael Galka once again. Sorry, because I seem to do it every time. Every time I want to say something good about Michael Galka, but when he does something right, he makes a mistake. But I think he just gets away with it. So very interesting moment just now on the top 3. We had Matthew Williams attacking Luke McGuire a few corners back, but now he actually lost some time to Luke McGuire. So yeah, the top 5 is still yeah, pretty evenly matched. So yeah.
And Daniele Brambilla is just coming through this field. He just went around James Early in left field like James Early wasn't there, and he's gaining right now on Michael Galka, and closing quite quickly here, as we might see it be very ambitious to pull a maneuver off into this section of the track right now, but it does set him up beautifully as he comes out onto this DRS. I'm going to call it the back straight, hanger straight, I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken. Well, then, yeah, the hanger straight there, and just isn't able to get it done before Stowe, unfortunately. So, but we'll have to keep our eye on Brambilla right now, as he is in the points in 15th.
Yeah, interesting. And now the drivers will feel a bit that the best of the tires is gone, so they're not at 100% anymore. I think more or less, I think 70% or even a bit less, depends how much we're pushing. So it will be interesting to see when the first people are going to have a bit of a drop off. So it will be interesting. I think that will be happening in around 3 or 4 laps, when people really will have a lot of problems with the grip of the car. Well, we've got an overtake from Leonov on Casper Michalak from P12, so great mover from even Leonov, so he moves up to P12.
Yeah, Leonov has been on basically a little bit of a forward push for sure, since starting with a well into the back on a back of the grid penalty from the Austrian round of the Formula Challenge series, as we're heading through down into the hanger straight here with Leonov. I'm just trying to look through the field, and it seems like everybody's fairly well spaced out, although I'm going to look at the gap here. It seems like Chris Shepard has been able to sort of stabilize this gap to about 1.1. Matthew Williams dropped a few more tenths off, but Chris Butcher 3.5 seconds behind Matthew Williams. up, and that obviously ballooned back up. So Butcher must have had a mistake somewhere there, as he was much closer to Williams earlier on before completing the last lap there. But we'll start to see if maybe Butcher starts to come up through this field. Again, I would think Butcher's on the strategy of just sort of playing it cool, playing it calm, and letting these guys sort of overwork their tires in front and just slowly picking them off when the time suits him.
Yeah, and yeah, somebody that can maybe use the tires a bit too much is Matthew Williams. I know a bit of Matthew Williams' driving style, and he's pretty aggressive on how he drives the car. So he might be one of the first guys that potentially has the problems. And yeah, if that's the case, I think he will lose a lot in the last 2 laps. But yeah, I'm not sure if that will happen, of course.
And if we go to the battle for 8th right now, it's Thomas Andrea Mihirasoa. I'm going to get it right one day, Thomas. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Thomas Andrea Mihirasoa defending from Cameron Rogers there. Cameron Rogers was very close to the back of Thomas's car as Cameron Rogers, a little bit of a slide there, using a little bit more of those tires. Not what you want to do right now, although we are approaching the halfway point of this race. Just holding on, Thomas is, to that 8th place, doing a great job there for Royal Blue. But Cameron Rogers definitely has the ability to sort of close that gap down. And it'll be interesting to see if he can keep the tires underneath him to where he can maybe make a pass and put himself up into that 8th position.
Yeah, very true. So yeah, we're let's see, we're about halfway now. So it will be it starts to get interesting now. And what I can see is Luke McGuire is doing really good. He's getting closer and closer to Chris Shepherd, and yeah, it looks like he might be on an attack quite soon because
Dylan Scrivens toward the back end with a little bit of a spin. Stay off the track, Dylan. Stay off the track. Spins all the way back down into the final running position of 28th right now. A little bit of a moment there. But back to what you were saying, Menno.
Yeah, well, I think Dylan has a big problem with his tires now. So getting back on the Luke McGuire thing we talked about is that he was a bit closer and closer to Chris Shepherd. So
and Luke McGuire's had a little bit of a reputation of being very aggressive this year in the races, and this has been a pretty cagey race from him. Not really overdoing it, just sort of riding around right behind Chris Shepherd. I have to say I'm pretty impressed with Luke McGuire's strategy right now.
Yeah, I think he will save it for last, so I think he can go even faster. But yeah, he's now facing the dirty air of Chris Shepherd, so if he will see the opportunity to overtake, then I think he will go for it. And let's be fair. Maguire has less to lose than Chris Shepherd. Chris Shepherd is the championship leader, so it will be very interesting if it comes to overtake. What will happen? Will Chris go for it? Like, will he stay hot in the battle, or will he just say like, I'm going to take it on a certain level, but not further? If you look at taking risks.
And James Early with a great pass on Wesley Stefano going into the village and out of the loop. Great job by James Early. Great pass. Wesley Stefano now having to defend from, is that his teammate, I believe, and Luke Browning? It is, having to defend from his teammate Luke Browning right now. Honestly, right now, this is the closest pack of cars right now with Dan Kell, James Early, Wesley Stefano, Luke Browning, and David Yunt. And you could even almost say Steve Coombe, just nose to tail, fighting it out, waiting for one ahead to make a mistake, trying to get those DRS advantages on each other on the straights. Just some really good racing right now as even Dan Kell starting to reel in Michael Galka.
Yeah, and all those people are just running that one position, that's P15 or of course higher. So Michael Galka now has it and needs to try to drive away because he's got a lot of yeah.
Oh, and Stefano, a beautiful in and out maneuver on James early. Pushes James a little wide, but Stefano holds it tight, has the optimal line going into these final 2 corners, well, 3 corners here, I guess. And Stefano is able to take that position back from James early. James now in the clutches of Luke Browning. Got to keep that car underneath you, James. But well on you, Wesley, for making that sort of maneuver on James. Basically going into, I'm trying to get my corners right. Stowe there. Great job. And there goes Luke. Oh, and they touch. James Early and Luke Browning touch a little bit as James Early is just falling back like a Led Zeppelin through the field. Oh, just terrible for James. He did not have a great race in Austria, and it doesn't seem like the home Grand Prix for James. Oh, as David Yunt does a little bit of a slide job in front of him. It doesn't look like the home Grand Prix is going that well for James either.
Oh, well, we've got a problem. Michael de los Rios with loss of front wing and rear wing. Did he lose it in Cups? What happened there? He lost it in Cups. Horrendous crash. Oh, yeah, he's out. He lost, yeah, everything on his car. Wow, that was a really big hit. And, yeah, that corner is so fast that, yeah, I was personally expecting somebody to crash there. But, yeah, it didn't happen until now. So somebody in the top 10 is now, yeah, is now out. So that promotes Galka to P14 and now Dan Kell into P15.
So, Menno, you could safely say now that if you don't know what limit your tires are on, maybe pushing is not what you want to do right now.
Yeah, that's very true. And we've still got 3 laps to go, but now we see a problem for Maguire. Maguire lost a lot of momentum on Shepard.
Matt Richards also running wide, but
oh, we've got an overtake. P3 on P2. It's Williams now attacking Maguire for P2. So I think Maguire's tires are near the end. I think that's the thing, because Maguire looked fast enough earlier. So I think his tires are more or less done.
He's going to fall into the clutches of Butcher as well.
Yeah, and with 2.5 laps to go, this can be very painful. I think he can easily lose 10 seconds if he is a bit unlucky with it, because if you don't have any, if you don't have any grip left, this track will be
and Butcher will have the DRS and probably put Williams away on this run through the hangar straight here down into, I believe that's Stowe. Butcher hangs it tough on the outside. Luke, don't do anything. Oh, they almost touched wheel. Great save by Luke Maguire, though. A great job as Matthew Williams now being able to set his sights on Chris Shepard, although I think Chris Shepard's just said, see ya later, folks. I'm going to take this as a birthday present today. But Chris Butcher now up into 3rd, Matt Williams 2nd. Chris Shepard obviously 1st, Matt Williams 2nd, Chris Butcher 3rd. Luke Maguire now into 4th, Sven de Vries 5th, Sandeep Chota is 6th, Thomas Andrea Mir Harasoa in 7th, Cameron Rogers in 8th, Matt Richards in 9th, Ivan Leonov in 10th, Rick Scott 11th, Kasper Michalak in 12th, Daniel Brambila in 13th, although putting heavy pressure on Michalak right now. Michael Galka 14th, and Wesley Stefano back up into the points in 15th. And those are your points-paying positions as we are nearly finished with this race, first race.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that Luke Maguire is losing more and more time. I think this will be a problem in the end. So he's got
and look at Chris Butcher, Menno.
Yeah,
Chris Butcher. I mean, it's almost as if we read it out of a textbook. Yeah. Just sort of saved his tires, waited in the wings, let these guys sort of run as hard as they can to try and catch Shepard. And Chris Butcher is going to probably pass Matt Williams here into Stowe and potentially put himself. And they touch! Oh, they touch! Oh, Lord. That was a scary moment for both those drivers. Chris Butcher especially. Because right now, Chris Butcher this is about as optimal as you could finish with Chris Shepard in the lead right now to minimize the amount of points lost. And great job as we are nearing the end point for this race.
Well, we've got a problem as well for Sven de Vries, who lost position to Sandeep Chadha, and Sandeep is on a chart. He has got tire life left, and yeah, he will not only get P5 from Sven de Vries, which he just did, but he will go to P4 as well. And now it will be very interesting. This is Sandeep Chadha. We didn't talk about him, but he looks to have the tire life at the end. So this is experience from Sandeep Chadha, and I think he potentially can get P4. Can we see some other movements? Yeah, Matt Rich is now into P10, so I think he's got the same. He's got a bit of experience as well, and he's actually very fast in the end of the race. So very interesting to see that.
Although it seems like Sven de Vries now is catching up these guys. He's about a half second back. We'll see what the gap is here. As Chris Shepard going to be starting he is on his final lap, I do believe. He's
already on his final lap.
Yeah. As we'll ride along here with Chris Shepard right now, but we'll keep you abreast of what is going on
the battle for P4 will be a slipstream battle on the last DRS straight we will get in this race.
And there we go, Sandeep Chadha. Hold it strong there through Stove, buddy. Oh,
and he does it. Yes, he gets him. Well, great job. But the win is for Chris Shepard. He wins another race, and on his birthday, he will get the maximum points, at least in race 1. With his championship rival, he did what he needed to do, get the P2. So that's very good for Butcher with Matthew Williams in P3. So very good. With Sandeep Chadha, very good in the end. He was the key of the race was in the end, and Sandeep knew that. He got P4. Great move. With Maguire still P5. I think, one of the best guys if you look at checking during the race. With Sven de Vries P6. Thomas Adriamihar is still at P7. Great job from him. I think in the end he got had a lot of speed. With even Leonov P8, so that's good points for Team Cenobite as well. Cameron Roger, we didn't talk about him, but he gets a top 10 in. That's very good to see. With Rick Scott, the winner from the Academy Series last week, now getting P10, so that's very good for him. So and for the WSL team, so that's 6 points for that team and for Rick Scott added. With Matt Riches in P11, that's very good for Matt Riches and for that team, because that team where he's driving for, I believe the team is last in the championship. That's Apex Motorsports. So they got 5 points now with Matt Riches, so very good for him. Daniela Brambilla, after a bit of a bad start, great drive up to the field. And Kasper Michalak, points on debut, very good. P13 still has a chance to be reversed for race 2, of course, as well. So auto drive 4 with Mikael Galka in P14. Great job for Mikael to get the points, and even for Wesley Stefano to get P15, because that's the important position where we talked about. It's 1 point, so it's not huge, but it's something, and also with the chance to be reversed, of course. With James Early not in the points, and he's having a streak of not that good races. So let's see if he can hit back in race 2.
Yeah, and something happened there at the end too, definitely, because James was sort of hovering there on 18th, 17th position, and just outside of that points paying position. What's quite interesting as well is that Adrian Campfield, that's the second Stax driver, and David Junt, which is the second Arrow driver, finished 17th and 18th. So they will not gain points or have any points out of race 1. But also, they will not have a chance to be reversed for race 2. So for the Constructors' Championship battle, it's quite hard for them. But of course, the teammates finished 1 and 2. So still a good amount of points. But the second car has a bit of problems, at least in race 1. So we shall see what they can do in race 2. No, Menno, And that is what we do here. Positions, what is it? 10 through 15, I believe, is the reverse grid. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Menno. But 10 through 15, random number will be drawn, and whoever was in that finishing position in race 1 will start from the pole and on backward until basically you get to P15, and then basically the reverse grid from that afterward, Menno, is how we set the grid for race 2 of the Formula Challenge series.
Yeah. And I personally, as a commentator, I always want to see the biggest reverse grid we can. So if you ask me, I want to see the top 15 reversed, because then, the winners or the podium guys from race 1 will have, the biggest challenge in race 2. So that's what I want to see, of course.
And on this track, Menno, that could be a fairly profound thing. Come to points. You know, I think we saw it in race 1. You need to save your tires toward the end.
Yeah.
You need to be somewhat cautious with them. You can't overexert them. I was looking in some of the chat after the race, and some of the drivers were on less than 30%, some even down to almost 15% on some of their tire wear. And like that, it's basically you're kind of playing with fire there.
Yeah, very true. And I think we saw that. If the tires are going below 30%, then the grip will just the grip is gone. And if you have if you don't have the fronts, in the fast corners, that you will lose a lot of time. So so actually very good from Luke to hold on to P5 if that indeed was a tire issue. But that's also racing. A lot of fast corners here. So you need to build the setup with it, and you need to drive it a bit careful. So I think with Maguire, I think his biggest problem was that he was attacking Shepard a lot. Maybe he lost a lot of front grip from that, but I'm not sure. So but of course he gets a second chance in race 2.
No, I think that's a great observation there, Menno. With that, I mean, we saw it. Luke McGuire just kind of looked like he had an extra 5 or 6 kilos of ballast on that car, and was just sort of just going back through that field. Unfortunately, just after those tires went, and shows to the point how important managing your tires. It's one of the things that drivers have.
Well, we have a bit of a problem, I believe, with hearing you, Tyler. So I think it's your internet. You still there, Tyler? Okay, so we've got a problem. Yeah, Tyler, we can hear you if you can hear us. So let me
finish high enough up into the points, and then you can move to which is the YTF1 Super League, which is basically the F1, the sim racing league, basically the fastest drivers.
Yeah, well, we have a problem with hearing Tyler, so we cannot hear everything he's saying. So we can sometimes hear bits of him. So hopefully we can fix that before the start of race 2. So for now we're in the warm-up session for race 2, and everybody is still looking to make last-minute changes. Of course, they found now that race 1 was quite tricky in the end, and I think people are just looking to change a bit of front wings, rear wings to change a bit in the fast corners, so that they will be having a little bit more tire left in the end. Also, I think a lot of people will start race 2 with a little bit more tire saving in mind. If they were having problems race 1, they will now go for it, but yeah, a little bit more preserved. So I think we will see that as well. Well, we now have 31 people in the server, so there's one missing, but I believe that guy is joining pretty soon. So let's see if I already see the reverse grid number. Yes, the reverse grid number is the lowest number we can have. It's number 10. So that means Rick Scott is on pole for race 2. So that's very interesting. So that means that, the winner of race 1, Chris Shepard, is starting for P10. So that's pretty good for him. I think that gives him a good opportunity to still, get a lot of points out of race 1. Of course, he can do that because he's one of the best drivers. He showed that in race 1. But with reverse grid number 10, he with a good start can really go for a top 5 position again, I think. But yeah, same goes for his championship rival Butcher, and as well for Matthew Williams, I think. So very interesting to see what will happen there. Well, I'm just looking at the drivers in the warm-up session. Yeah, not many times are being set. No, that's just people that are now driving for general feeling to do a practice start as well. So people just want to do the last checks before we go into the race again. Well, we now have a 32nd participant in Pedro Delgado. So he's on the grid as well. So we now got the 32. So that's the maximum of the FC field. That means every of the of all 16 teams have now have 2 drivers now in their car. So that's very good. Of course, this is one of the most prestigious Grand Prix, of course, of the calendar, because GPVWC is from origins English league, and with a lot of English drivers, this is the one everybody wants to win. This is the one where people want to shine, and I think with the maximum grid now it shows that. So it will be very interesting, of course. Well, I'm going to look if we will have a second commentator in soon, but I believe there is a problem with the computer of Tyler. So looks like I need to do it on my own for race 2. So then I'm trying to give you the best coverage I can, of course, and we will see what race 2 will bring. I'm now at the end of the warm-up session, so every moment, or any moment now, sorry for my English, any moment now we will go to race 2. Well, everybody is now lining up for the second race, so we're just waiting for everybody to do so. We've got around 40 seconds before we start the warm-up lap, so then we will go through the grid for race 2. We've got 15 seconds now before we start the warm-up lap. So yeah, everybody is now joining. I believe you can see that now on the camera. 32 drivers, like I said before, so good grid. I believe everybody joined now. We're now going to start the formation lap for race 2. So we're going to the grid now. So it's Rick Scott, who's got pole position for race 2. Very interesting what he can do. He won the Academy race last week, and can he do it again? I think if he can do it again, I think this will be a huge thing in GPVWC. But of course, we shouldn't give him a curse as well. But it's good to see he can do this from pole. So interesting what he can do in the race, and if he can hold a good position or will fall back in the latter part of the race. Well, we have got Cameron Roger in P2 and Ivan Leonov in P3, with Thomas Adrian Soa in P4, with Sven de Vries in P5. Let's see what Sven de Vries can do now from P5 and having more experience with the FC car now. Luke Maguire in P6, with Sandeep Chota in P7, with Matthew Williams in P8, Chris Butcher in P9, and the winner of race 1, Chris Shepard in P10, with Matt Richards in P11, with Daniela Brambila in P12, with Kasper Michalak in P13, with Mikael Galka in P14, and Wesley Stefano in P15. So those are the point scoring position. Top 15 is important, of course, for points. Let's see who will we miss and who will be getting into that later. Let's now go to the second part of the starting grid. That's James Early in P16, Adrian Campfield in P17, and David Junt in P18. Interesting what Junt and Campfield can do. Can they get into the points? With Luke Browning now in P19, with Matthew Beavis in P20, Steve Comby in 21st position, 22nd position for Rauno Muru, with 23rd position for Dan Kell. Adrian Faber, this is his second ever FC race and he starts in P24, with P25 for Ruben van den Hudding. Michael de los Rios in P26, with Dylan Skris in P27, Haris Parves in P28, Kevin Peters in P29, Pedro Delgado in P13, and Tom Davidson in P31, and rounding out the grid is Harry Graham. I'm making apologies in advance if I said any of the names not correct. I'm very sorry, but we're now going to watch, of course, for the start for race 2. Normally I would say a prediction, but I will leave it now. We shall see what the race will bring. Hopefully the race will bring a second commentator during the race, but we shall see that. We'll wait for the lights to go on for the second race of the Formula Challenge night tonight. Waiting. We see lights. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're gone for race 2. It's a good start for Rick Scott, and also a good start for Cameron Rogers in P2. Let's see what will happen in corner 2. It's still a bit of it was pretty close. Sven de Vries was involved in a bit of a touch, but what will happen behind it? It's a bit of a spinner of one of the CM Tech cars, but I think overall it's quite okay. Not too much drama. Let's see. Well, we already see Harry Graham has a drive 2 penalty or a stop go even, so it's quite tricky into the first corners. But into the lead, it's Rick Scott with Cameron Roger in P2, with Ivan Leonov now in P3, and Sven de Vries in P4, with Michael Williams from, I believe, P8 now already in P5. So great start from Matthew Williams, and Sandeep Chota in P6, Chris Butcher in P7, Matt Richards in P8. Great start from him, and the winner of race 1, Chris Shepard in P9. So yeah, well, even a place gain from him. And Kasper Michalak, wow, he started in P13 and now already in P10, so very good. And David Junt from P17 or P18 and P11. So We've got some good names now in the points. Well, we've even got Dylan's credits in P14. So yeah, I think we missed some drama. So which persons did we lose a bit? Daniel Brambilla lost a lot of time. Luke Maguire lost a lot of time. So yeah, he's pretty hurt in this race. And Thomas Adrian Marisoa had a problem. So he's one of the victims from lap 1 as well. But we already got 2 retirements, Haris Parvis and Ranu Muru. So 1 lap completed. It's Rick Scott who leads. So yeah, they will not take that away from him. Very good. But Cameron Roger is attacking, and yeah, even Leonov and Sven de Vries are pretty close as well. But look at Matthew Williams. Yeah, Matthew Williams is on a charge. He feels that yeah, he can win this one. You can just see how he's driving. He's so confident and very good to see. Well, I believe we might have a second commentator again.
Oh, I'm back.
Hey, hello.
Hey, sorry about that, Menno.
You
Looks
took your
like,
time.
yeah, well, I didn't want to. I didn't want to. But that server reboot, evidently here in the Americas, that didn't really take off so well. So anyway, looks like we have Rick Scott in first right now, and Cameron Rogers in second, Ivan Leonov in third, and Sven de Vries, who I was recently made aware of. You two were teammates, Menno?
Yeah, we were teammates in when was it? 2015 in the Super Cup. Yeah, so yeah, we know each other from a long time, and yeah, we're quite good mates. So yeah, it's great for him to that he does this again, and yeah, so yeah, I know him pretty well, and I know what he's capable of. But yeah, he's got good competition today, so yeah, a win will not be very likely. Well, we've got Wesley Stefano now retired from the race, so we've got another retirement, which brings a total on 3. Well, we've got Luke Browning. Luke Browning was, I believe, crashing, and he was, I believe, out of the track. I think he was stuck in a wall somewhere, but yeah, he's indeed out. So that's 4 or 5 people already out of the race.
That's too bad for them there, but yeah. So I'm looking at this right now, and looks like we have Chris Shepard now setting the fastest lap. So this will be a little bit interesting role reversal now. Chris Shepard chasing Chris Butcher. Can Chris get by Chris? Question of the day, I guess. But Shepard now a little bit of a role reversal, a little bit of a mind switch maybe to where he's going to try and do whatever he can to try and get past Chris Butcher. But knowing that he scored that full 25 points in the first race, so if he can just stay behind Butcher, it'll be a boon for his championship hopes. So, Menno, any other interesting battles that you're able to look at right now?
Yeah, now attack for P3. It's Sven de Vries on Ivan Leonov. He's going to try it on the inside. Leonov is still there. Sven de Vries, yeah, he looks like he doesn't overtake, but Leonov will have the inside for the next corner. And he will get the inside. He will do it. Sven de Vries tries to keep alongside him, but he can't do it. So Leonov, yeah, just stays in P3, but Sven de Vries was attacking, and now we've got Sally Chora attacking Matthew Williams. So that whole group is a bit hurt by the attacking of Sven de Vries on even Leonov. It shows that the whole pack will be a bit closer now for the race. Well, we've got Sven de Vries and even Leonov now next to each other. Sven de Vries will now have the inside, and it will be another corner, and Sven de Vries will have the inside for that corner as well. But now it will be interesting if Ivan can walk the corner with Sven. He's trying, and he's still alongside Sven de Vries, and he will just retake that third position. Great battle from Sven de Vries and Ivan Leonov, while we got Ranu Muru now also out of the race.
Oh, that's 2 bad finishing positions for him. Hilverstone this week. Terrible luck there for Ranu Muru. Hopefully he'll have some better luck in the next round. I'm just looking at the field right now, and it looks like Chris Shepard has been able to get by Chris Butcher. So move Chris Shepard up to 7th and Chris Butcher down to 8th there. That's going to be huge.
Oh, look at the battle for P3. 3 wide now, the 2 Cenobite cars and Sven de Vries, who will have the biggest... Oh!
Oh, no. Oh, no, as it seems like Sven de Vries catapulted Sandeep Chota all the way up there to 4th. Sven de Vries has been able to hold 5th, although Chris Shepard now moving past him. They're having a little bit of a tussle right there. Chris Shepard being very opportunistic now, able to finally put Sven de Vries back down to 6th there, as Matthew Williams and Chris Butcher now getting into a little bit of a tussle.
Oh, look at Matthew Williams. Oh. And Sven de Vries spins. Sven de Vries spins, and now he's in P9. Oh, unfortunately, he got hit on the rear, so he, lost a few positions now. So unfortunately for him, but yeah, there was most likely something going to happen there, and indeed it happened. When we now, after 4 laps, we still got Rick Scott in the lead and Cameron Rush in P2. Can the both of them do a bit of a surprise? If Rick Scott wins this, it will be a huge upset for the whole league. That will be amazing. Yes. I believe that will also be the first win of that team. So we'll not jinx it, because I'm good in giving people a curse. But yeah, for now it looks pretty good. They got a gap to P3, and that whole fight is so intense. They are for now I think only pulling away of the top 2 of the number 3. So interesting to see that.
Yeah, and Sandeep Chota here, able to improve his positions from that whole sort of incident that we had up there with Ivan Leonov and Sven de Vries fighting for those positions, able to improve himself up to 4th. As we are now watching, basically just watching the battles now between Matthew Williams and Chris Butcher. This is probably the most hotly contested battle on track right now. For sure, as just so close between the two, but it seems to have equilibrated out a little bit now between Chris Williams and Chris Butcher and Matthew Williams. Menno, any other interesting battles that you're able to see? I've seen seems like Michael Galka has been able to get past James Early for 12th. Sven de Vries holding well in 9th, and Dylan Scrivens, who had a little bit of a moment in that final points-paying position for McKinley Engineering. Good drive from Dylan. Yeah,
very good drive from Dylan. From I think a position he was starting around P28 or something. So actually, if he can finish in a point-scoring position, that will be, of course, very good for him, from him. But also, we should name Dan Carr, who's now in P14, will be great to see that. While I'm not seeing Matthew Beavis is out, so unfortunately he's retired.
Matt Beavis and I believe Harry Graham as well, Menno. Sorry.
Yeah, because we see this a lot, that race 2 will face more retirements, because race 1 you need to go on, because every place you can win is a place gained on the starting grid, even if it's 24 or 22nd, that will be 1 row ahead. While in race 2 you will not gain anything on it. You need to have top 15, otherwise you will have nothing. So I think people know that if the race is not going well, then they know, I'm now too far behind, and then people sometimes want to quit.
As the gap to 1st and 2nd now down to about a half second, though, Menno, it seems like Cameron Rogers is learning from what he did in the first race when he was trying to run down Thomas Andrea Mirharasoa there for 8th place, and he's doing it right now to Rick Scott. I wonder if Rick Scott used a little bit too much tires in the beginning, trying to get himself a decent gap, but we'll see if Cameron Rogers is able to sort of close down this gap. But this gap definitely to a half second right now.
Yeah, interesting. And look at Sandeep Chota again. Sandeep is doing a really great job. Every move he did so far in race 1, and now it's just rewarding. And now he's in P4, and I think he's one of the fastest guys now.
But Sandeep can't just rest on his laurels, though, because
No.
behind him, Chris Shepard is coming, and he is coming in hot for sure, as Chris Shepard definitely looking to improve and hopefully get up onto the podium, maybe even steal a win here in the second race. But Chris Shepard definitely on the move.
Yeah, that's good you say that, because I don't know if he can get an onboard of Chris Shepard. He can just see that first position still driving. He knows that first position or a podium position is so close, so that will motivate you to keep everything at it. And so that's good to see. And I believe he is now still one of the fastest on the track. So.
And if we look at a battle for 8th and 9th right now, as your buddy Sven de Vries able to put a great move on Matt Richards there for P8. Sven just doing a great job going into, I believe that is turn. I need to learn my Silverstone turns.
But look at Matt Richards. He's going to attack, and Matt Richards is not from yesterday.
So far out there, hanging around Brooklands into left field, but Sven should get a pretty good run coming off left field there. I just wonder about his tires.
Yeah, that's what I wonder as well. And actually, from everybody, what will we see now from the tires point of view? So
we also have a great battle, Menno. Sorry there for P11, as James Early has it. Casper Michalak wants it. We'll see whether or not Michalak is able to had to sort of lay off there in Maggots and Beckett's there as they're coming in through Chapel now onto the Hanger Straight. We'll see if Michalak can maybe close back up to Early, but Michalak was very close to the the rear wing of Early going into left field there. But Michael Gauka now has basically caught back up to Casper Michalak.
Got an overtake.
Very close. Almost touching wheels there. Casper Michalak, great job to hold your line and hold Michael Gauka back. But Gauka going to have DRS. Gauka comes to the inside, going in to Abbey. Gauka not able to get it done. Michalak does a great job holding it around the outside, but that is going to eat your tires alive. And
yes.
Gauka definitely able to sort of make it work into Village and going around the loop and coming out of Aintree. And Gauka has that position. Move Gauka up to P12, move Casper back to P13.
Yes. Well, Sven de Vries got back on Matt Richards, for P8, so very good to see. But look at that battle. Look at Rick Scott and the whole train of cars behind it. Look at that. Those are the footages you want to have in a broadcast if you are a league like us, because this is very intense, very close. And I think more or less everybody in this group is on the same speed, but only one is leading the race, and that's Rick Scott. So interesting. And now, of course, we will see a lot of DRS.
And something to point out there, Menno, too, is the more that they do this, the more cars are going to have the ability to sort of catch up. Oh, it's Chris Shepard. Chris Shepard has contact there with Sandeep Chota trying to get by there in Stowe, and big wheel bangs against each other. I hope that hasn't caused too much suspension damage, but move Shepard back down to P6, Sandeep Chota to P7, and elevate up Chris Butcher and Matthew Williams to P4 and 5 respectively.
Yeah, that's a very interesting move. I think he just braked a bit too late and the car went straight and hit Sandeep. But luckily, that move was not fatal for one of the cars, so that's good to see. But we're getting closer and closer to the finish line, and we still have Rick Scott in the lead, and we still have Cameron Roger in P2. So interesting.
But Chris Butcher now looks to have a run on Ivan Leonov as he heads to the inside of Brooklands. Can Butcher hang it around? Hold tight. Oh, very close as they go around left field. Butcher on the outside. Leonov has the preferred racing line through left field, but Chris Butcher hangs it tough around left field on the outside as they head. As they head in the national pit straight. and they're heading into Copse, and it looks like, oh, Leonov with a brilliantly blinding maneuver down the inside of Butcher. Butcher had to lift, didn't want to ruin his tires, and that puts him in the clutches of Matthew Williams.
Very great racing from all the guys. And
Leonov goes off. Leonov cuts it on or what is that?
But look at Shepard. Look at Shepard and Williams. Williams is going to defend, but yeah, Shepard will have DRS, but he also will have a bit of a slipstream on Butcher, I think. But Williams stays ahead for now. For now, they go a bit ahead, yeah. But Shepard tries to, keep next to him. Williams breaks late, and he just managed to stay ahead. What a great battle! What a great battle!
Shepard's all over the business end again, and Shepard is going to get that position, no matter what it seems. He's going to follow him there through Abbey there, and then through Farm Curve. He's lost a little too much time there through Farm Curve on Matt Williams, but maybe he can catch him back up as we look ahead there to Chris Butcher and Ivan Leonov there. I don't know about you, Menno, but I can almost hear the tires screaming through my earphones saying enough.
Yeah, I think some tires will have seen enough and are starting to process with not giving any more grip to the car. But yeah, we're in the closing stages. But this is an amazing race, and it's still close.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of battling. Of course, some drama, some overtakes that just didn't work in the end, but nothing too problematic. And yeah, very good to see. Let's see, do we have anyone that is worth noticing?
Well, Rick Scott and Cameron Rogers, that gap has seemed to stabilize. Ivan Leonov still hanging around in P3. Chris Butcher, though, going to be very opportunistic in the closing stages, I'm sure, on Ivan Leonov to try and see if he can't get by. Although it seems like Cameron Rogers may have had a little bit of a mistake as Leonov was able to sort of close up on him a little bit. Matthew Williams and Chris Shepard as well are going to have their battles going in and into the final stages of this race. And don't necessarily count out Sandeep Chota. Sandeep Chota not super close. But if any of the front runners do have an incident, do have some contact, as Chris Shepard there runs wide going through Abbey, Sandeep Chota could be right there to sort of pick up
a bit of a mistake from Chris Butcher. He missed the corner a bit, and now Matthew Williams is on the attack. Yeah, he's on the attack, and he will get DRS from there. So I think there will be an attack from Matthew Williams on Chris Butcher. But of course, Chris Butcher will go for the inside, but not good enough.
Cameron Rogers, though, also trying to make a move around Brooklands there. And into left field as Rick Scott runs wide. Rick Scott, and he hits Leonov. Even Leonov and Rick Scott have contact. That promotes Matt Williams up to second. Rick Scott now kind of a wounded duck in the water. Getting passed now by Chris Butcher as Rick Scott sort of pulls to the side and lets Butcher by. Fair play to him. You don't want to take out a championship contender. Same thing with Chris Shepard there. So fair play there to Rick Scott. Great job. As Sandeep Chota now, he's going to go around Rick Scott going into Maggots and Beck. It's a very ambitious maneuver, but promote Cameron Rogers up to first. Matthew Williams, though, hot on his heels in second. And look at now, Chris Butcher on the podium. Chris Shepard, though, it might be too far back to actually do anything.
Look at Matthew Williams on the outside. Oh, and they touch Williams.
No.
Williams, and it's Butcher in the lead.
Oh, no! And Williams hits Shepard. He just clips the left rear of Shepard and sends him into a spin. That's not what you want to see.
Oh yeah, this was people fighting for the same piece. And let's see, we've got 1 lap to go, and it's Chris Butcher leading. Will this be his Christmas, his birthday, and every present he ever got? Will it be wrapped into this Silverstone win? He's got 1 lap to go, and then he will be in the championship lead again, I think, or at least he does a good job, at least with points. While we've got a battle for P2 and P3 with Roger and Sandeep Chota, and Sandeep feels that he's faster, and we've got Sandeep spinning.
Sandeep. Oh yeah, Sandeep.
He's spinning out.
And he can't get it back on track, losing so many positions. Drops Sandeep back down to 6th. but a great job to save it, not
Yes.
bin it into the wall.
And now it's Sven de Vries in P4. Can he get Rick Scott? Rick Scott is wounded. I think his tires have seen enough. Will he go for a podium position or not? Yeah, we're now at the second sector, so we're nearly at home. And then we will celebrate the winner, which I think it will be.
It'll be Chris Butcher, yeah, and he will retain the points lead with that win for sure if he's able to close it out in the final 5 corners here. But yeah, just kind of not what you wanted to see at the end of the race there. But as we have Sandy Choate and Ivan Leinoff still fighting.
Look at Sven de Vries. Sven de Vries and Rick Scott for the last position of the podium. Sven de Vries will go for it. Can he do it? Can he do it? A dive bomb.
Oh no! Oh, ambitious Sven. Oh, so ambitious.
But he tries it. And who's going to P3? It's Sandeep Chota. It's Chris Butcher wins. Cameron Roger gets the second position. And Sandeep in P3 with Rick Scott in P4. Leonov P5. David Junt in P6. Matt Richards in P7. Matthew Williams in P8. James Early in P9. And Sven de Vries in P10. Yes, Sven de Vries wanted to go for it, but I believe, he just hit the back of,
And Chris Shepard in P11. Michael Galka P12. Dylan Scrivens in P13, Daniela Brambilla in P14, and Luke McGuire in P15. Menno, wow. Everybody let it all hang out in that last race on those last 3 laps.
That was amazing.
Yeah, great racing. It would have been nice to been a bit cleaner. But it all got left out there on the track. Tires, tempers, and just tough days. All I could say.
Just imagine if you're Sandeep, you're running P3, attacking P2 in the last lap, then you spin, and you've got that strange feeling in your belly, like, oh no, there goes the podium, and then. With a bit of luck, he got it back. So I think we've got a very happy, Indian.
Well, Menno, like you said earlier, in race 1, as well as race 2, if your car's not broke, drive it till the end, because you don't know where you're going to finish in these Formula Challenge races.
Yeah,
you got to finish these races because you never know where you're going to finish at the end of these, depending upon what happens. And as you can see from the last 3 laps here at Silverstone on race 2, anything can and sometimes does happen.
Yeah, well, we already have one guy for the interview. Can you guess who it is?
No, I don't. I don't want to guess.
It's Sandeep Chota, so I guess he's pretty pumped, full adrenaline.
You know what? He should be. He's great 2 races. And he should be. It was a great job by Sandeep. So, whenever we're ready for interviews, I'm just trying to recover a little bit from that race, that ending. Whenever we're ready for interviews, bring them in and let's do this.
Yes, it was a great race too, of course, with a lot of problems for some people, but it shows that people are going for it. They just don't want to give up, and it looked like it's like a very hard offense to crash somebody off, but actually even a small touch on the rear wheel can give a lot of big consequences. So it looks like somebody is about to get murdered, but actually it's just a little hit on the rear that can already spin a car around, especially in a fast corner. That will give problems.
Yeah, and Silverstone known for its fast corners there. Menno, basically kind of a tale of 2 races, if you think about it. Very measured, very planned, very curated race 1 to sort of keep those tires underneath you and keep the positions, especially if you qualified up high, where you were at. To all this setup for race 2, where you just basically say, tires, I don't need no stinking tires, and I'm just going to run as fast as I can to try and get my positions, and toward the end, just use whatever rubber is left on those skins to try and get them across the line and get people behind you.
Very true. See, so let's see if you look at the points. Chris Butcher scored 20 points for P2 in race 1 and 25 points for first position. So that means he scores 45 points.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will have, of course, the other Chris Shepard scored 25 points in race 1 and 5 points for P11 in race 2. So that means that Chris Butcher gains 15 points on Chris Shepard, and then the difference will be. Let me look. Difference will be mature. It's already will be
15 on top of 3.
Yeah,
should
so
be
that's 18. Yeah, I'm seeing it now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, championship implications there. and it was going to look like it was going to be such a close battle, and basically even a leapfrogging of Chris Butcher by Chris Shepard at the end of this race, maybe in points, but that all unraveled basically at the end of lap 2, or the second to last lap of this race. So but I think we've got a fair amount of folk in the interview room. So Menno, whoever you want to bring in.
Let's just start with I think the guy that is here for the longest. Let's just start with Sandeep, because I think he's with adrenaline and he's pumped. So let's get him in.
Oh, why did Shepard push?
Hello. You're
live. You're live, Sandeep.
Yeah, you're live.
Oh.
So, hello.
Hey, Sandeep, how you doing? It's Tyler Parker. Got a few questions for you. So I'm going to talk about both races. 2 questions for you. Race 1, that was a very measured race by you. You really saved the tires really well and sort of attacked toward the end. What were you able to do that basically kept those tires underneath your car for so long?
That was the plan. I was playing the long game. I knew others ahead of me was going to have tire issues, so I just protected the fronts. I made sure I wasn't close enough to Sven to get his dirt yet to wreck him. And then lap 8 on, I started pushing on. I was saying one of the quickest laps on towards the end. If I had another couple of laps, maybe I could have had a podium in race 1. But solid points, P4. And then, it was good.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a great race. It was actually a really treat to watch that first race, because we kind of knew what was gonna happen within the last 2 to 3 laps, and we were like, man, when's Sandeep gonna make that move? Race 2 though, sort of a completely different race. You were up there, you were fighting for it, and then you kind of had that issue in Brooklands going in the left field. Tell us how that felt, and tell us what you were thinking as far as trying to get yourself refocused to eventually get that great podium finish.
I tried to cut back underneath Roger. I noticed he lost the back on the way in, and he was trying to correct it. And then I was trying to correct the mine and try to undercut at the same time. It didn't quite work. And then P7 or P6, one of those. I was thinking, podium's gone then. And then everyone had a bad run in Maggots and Beckett, managed to get him into Stowe, and then the 2 guys ahead of me, Rick and Sven, had a little moment, and I ended up nicking a podium in the last corner, which I was happy with. I was a little bit gutted. I think I could have won race 2. I did have a little incident with Shepard in Stowe, which kind of put me at the back of that train. And then I was noticing some damage as well in that race. But the tires were, again, awesome. They were actually better in the dirt. They were actually really, really good. I knew the guys ahead of me were going to struggle with tire wear again. That's what I was hoping. That's why I was banking on trying to nick a win like that. But still a podium. It's my second one of the season, and I'll take it.
Well, it was a great performance here at Silverstone this afternoon, Sandeep, and continued luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Well, Menno, kind of what we knew.
So he was quite happy. Let's get somebody else in, and let's get David jumped in, shall we? And go ahead, Tyler. You're the interview king, so I just let you do it. And if I've got something to say, I will say something.
Please do interject, Menno, if you do have something to say. So, hey, David, how you doing? You got a copy? David, it's Tyler Parker with the broadcast team. How you doing?
Hello. Yeah, I'm okay.
Hey, how you doing, David? So Menno brought you in here. What were your you kind of had a little bit of a rough go of it in race 1 and I believe it was race 2 as well. I'm going to pull up those stats right now. But what are your thoughts on Silverstone in the points race for you in P3 going into or after this these 2 races in this round?
Slightly disappointed, especially after, turn 1 of race 1, since I'm feeling like one more turn and that would have been like clear of any possibilities. I mean, the first leg, 2-3 corners at Silverstone are, if people bunch up, then there's nearly somebody that will be trying or tries to evade. I know people brake, they go left, right, and then sometimes they try, I could gain that place. And I had a bit bad luck that I somehow bogged down on my launch control at the start. Then Miko got to the inside, and there was a misunderstanding. I wanted to turn in. He was so fast that he nearly missed the turn, and I touched him. Then we both lost speed, and then I was just unsuspecting, going to turn 3, seeing like a half-spun car, and suddenly I was going round, and then I was off twice again. I just tried to make the best. I saved my tires, even though I had problems with the suspension. I just tried my best, but I was so close to the points. But then, I tried to get Wesley, but then I spun myself and only got P18. So yeah, that's like the bad one. But it looks like luck came back in the second race because I evaded some spins, crashes. And at the end, it was really nearly madness. I saw so much on the last lap, and I got so lucky with P6. So it's darkness and light, back and shadow. So I'm fine with that, taking P6 and getting more points for the team. I'm also really happy for Chris to maybe also have a lucky second race, but this is how it happens, and I can't complain about that.
Yeah, David, it was crazy from our end as well, and I'm sure it was equally as nuts as when you were like, oh, I'm at this position now. This is great. But anyway, really enjoyed the show you put on for us today, and continued luck in the rest of the season, David.
Thank you.
So let's get another one in. Let's should we go to the winner from race 1 now?
Well, we've got winner from race 1 and winner from race 2 in there, and then we also have the championship leader. So I'll let you choose, Menno.
Yes, well then I will drag in Chris Shepard now for an interview. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Chris, you live. First of all, happy birthday, man.
Cheers, man.
Second of all,
I tend not to celebrate now that I'm getting older. But yeah, cheers.
I think everybody knows about it now. But hey, man, race 1, great job there. Race 2 sort of unraveled for you. I guess talk us through your car and sort of how you managed race 1. It really seemed like a tale of 2 races there. And then race 2, it seemed like you were letting it all go to the wind and trying to get as far up as you can. Just talk us through both those if you could.
Yeah, well, race 1, I had Maguire, who was right on my ass, so I could see he was pushing so hard because in the right-handers he was gaining a couple of attempts, but I was just going a few mile an hour slow just to keep the tyres a little bit in a sensible heat. And yeah, it paid off at the end. I mean, it was fine. Race 1 went as planned, so I was happy with that.
And then race 2, it seemed like you guys were just push, especially toward that last half of the race, trying to get as much as you can. Talk us through, I guess, what ended up dropping you all the way back to P11.
Yeah, well, I was trying to take it easy because I've just had nightmare all season with race 2, and yeah, so I just thought just just get to the latter stages of the race in a decent position. I managed to get in front of Butcher and got into a decent place. I think about fourth, and then I made an error which let Butcher and Williams past. Managed to get past Williams again, and I see Butcher was just getting ahead. So I just tried to. The tyres were a lot better in race 2, so I just tried to catch up again, and then the inevitable happened. Cut the guys in front, made contact, and I tried keeping it tight around that fast right-hander, and yeah, I just got clipped, and that was it. At that speed, you got no chance, especially when you got your wheel turned. It's just game over.
You didn't have any understeer going into that final corner or that Stowe corner?
When I got taken out, you mean?
Yeah.
Not really. No, other than normal. I had quite low rear wing, so no, it was more oversteer if anything. But yeah, I was tight. I was a lot tighter than normal, so I could see Matt was there, but I don't know what happened. I didn't expect him to come across the track. Obviously, he's still trying to get control of his car, so yep, it just wouldn't be the same without an incident in race 2.
Well, was looking up for you there, but hopefully you'll get some better luck coming up here in the forthcoming rounds in race 2, and we keep this great championship battle going on in Formula Challenge there, Chris. So don't celebrate too hard, and thanks for a great race, man.
Yeah, nice one. Cheers, Tyler, man.
And let me move in the next one. Next one will be Cameron Roger, who of course had a great race too. So, Edit, do your thing.
Hey, Cameron Rogers, this is Tyler Parker. You got a copy?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Hey, Cameron. Great race too. You had a pretty good race 1 as well, if I recall. And just sort of take us through, especially in race 2, basically how you sort of managed that race to get and run down Rick Scott there, who was basically out front for majority of it.
Well, as learnt in race 1, it was unbelievably difficult to overtake. So I just tried my best to keep with him. I think he was slightly quicker than me, but I was better on the brakes into turn 3, and that really opened up the DRS zone down the Wellington Straight. And I knew that was my only place to overtake him, because I think he might have had higher wings than me, because he was so much quicker through sector 2. And then, I was just spending the whole race behind him, trying to keep close. And luckily, I could keep Leonov at bay quite easily on pace. So when it got to the penultimate lap, and I had an awesome run through turn 3 and 4. So I just slipstreamed him, and I went to the outside, anticipating that he would outbrake himself, and he did. So I just put on a load of locks to try and make it on the exit of Brooklands, and then managed to work. And then there was contact with Leonov, and I was like, "Oh yes, I've got this." And then my tires just gave up. They just completely gave up. So I think it was Williams then at that point was right behind me, and unfortunately I couldn't hold it on, because that would have been my first win in Formula Challenge. I haven't really had many races at the top this season, so I was trying to get that. But unfortunately, tyre was just a bit too much, and when we had the contact, Butcher got past, and I couldn't do anything from there.
Well, I tell you what, it was fun to watch, and it was a great job right there from you, especially sort of understanding what was going to go on into that turn there in Brooklands with Rick Scott. So best of luck for the rest of the year, Cameron, and hopefully we'll see you on the winner's step here in Formula Challenge sometime this year.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, then we will at the last one. That's Chris Butcher, the final interview for today.
All right, hey Chris Butcher, it's Tyler Parker. You got a copy?
Hello.
Hey Chris, how you doing? So good to hear. Good to hear. So a measured race 1, and then a little bit more of an aggressive race 2. With that, it seems like you kind of, I'm not going to say lucked into it, but there was definitely some craziness that happened. But you come out with an 18-point lead in the championship going into the next round. That's got to feel good for you. Sort of take us through what your mindset was for race 1 and race 2, and then if you want to elaborate on the championship lead, feel free.
Yeah, so all through testing, it looked like I didn't really have the ultimate pace, and so race 1 was just all about looking after the tyres and capitalising on anybody making any mistakes, and you know, it was largely clean for the majority of the race, and then Matthew and Luke looked like they ran out of tyres, and yeah, so second place, I was really happy with that, considering the lack of pace going into it. And then race 2, you know, it's a reverse grid race. There's always a little bit of carnage. It's all about just sort of, you know, knowing when to pick your fights and sort of, you know, watching things develop and kind of you get, you know, after you've done so many races like I have, you kind of get a feeling when something's going to kick off. So yeah, I just sat back, let all the incidents happen, and picked people off when I could, and it paid off in the end. It's a shame for Shepherd, because everybody and myself included want to see a really good battle for the championship, and at the minute it's not happening. He's not getting much luck in the second races at all. So hopefully, you know, after Hockenheim we've got a bit of a break. Hopefully people can sort themselves out, and hopefully we'll have a cleaner sort of second half of the season.
Well, you definitely did the maximum of what you were able to sort of accomplish in these 2 races, Chris. And, you know, those are the things that win championships. So continued luck in what you're going to be doing, trying to win a Formula Challenge crown. And we look forward to some great battles between you and Chris later on.
Yeah, thanks very much.
All right, Menno. Anything from these interviews that sort of stands out to you, or anything that you heard that was kind of like you did or didn't agree with, or sort of surprised you?
Well, I think more or less what I expected, actually. So yeah, of course, Butcher is very happy with the points, but yeah, it feels like it's just sometimes or Chris Butcher or Chris Shepherd is a bit unlucky, and that makes it exciting, of course, to see, but also a bit unlucky, of course. So they know that there's a long way ahead. We're now half the season, so first half of the season is done, and that's what they know as well. And now it will begin. Now, if you want a title, as if you're a Butcher or Shepherd, you now know this is the starting point. Now we're getting closer and closer to, well, potentially getting the titles, and then that's very interesting. And of course, very good. We saw Cameron Roger and Sandy Chota in here, so they both sound very happy as well. So that's good to see, and we need to interview them as well, because they're not here at every race on the podium. So we want to have a quote from them, of course, as well. So great, we got them at the microphone as well. So great to see that. So
No, I think Sandeep and Cameron were both over the moon with the results, as they should be. Did a great job. But yeah, we're coming up on sort of the halfway point of the season coming up here, and right now, if you're not taking this championship seriously as a driver, you definitely need to be, because it's only going to get more tooth and nail from here. But no, Menno, I think we had a couple of great races today. And I guess we'll be signing off here. So for myself, Tyler Parker, Menno Klont, and David Francic on cameras, always doing a great job, David is, and Menno with a great commentary. I'm going to sign off for this GPVWC Formula Challenge race here at Silverstone. And everybody, have a good night.
Have a good night. See you in 2 weeks' time at the Hockenheim. Bye-bye.
To keep up to date with the latest GPVWC videos, click on the subscribe button, or check out more of our exciting sim racing action by choosing a video. For more information on the league, visit gpvwc.com.